Hi, I'm Christopher Hein. So today I'm going to talk to you about my current fourth form, which is going to be aggravating to tell you about because, at least number-wise, because it's Saito Sensei's sixth form. It is my old sixth form as well. I think that's right. Seventh form. Yeah, my old seventh form. But anyways, the reason the numberings change, the forms don't change. The way I've been teaching the forms, the way I've been teaching the forms for quite a while. But I changed the numbering because I start realizing this connection is more important than that connection, and I'm trying to create easy ways for students to learn them. So they're in bulks that are like, oh, these lessons are all contained in this form, this form, and this form. These lessons are all contained in this form, this form. So I'm playing with the numbers kind of constantly as I get new students who are like, oh, it's hard for them to get this concept, or actually this concept should be more focused on here. So that's why the numberings change around. I wouldn't worry about it too much. This is the form where you catch their elbow. So if you remember that, that's the one we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to get Josh over here. We're going to go to work. Josh? All right, so let's talk about fourth form. I'm losing my balance here. I've drank too much this morning. That's a lie. I have no problems. Anyway, so fourth form now. So this is the first form, the way I have them oriented, where we are down in Jokomai and dealing with someone who's not in Jokomai, who's about to attack us. I used to have these later. I think these actually has the cleverest and best answer for a thrust coming in while you're in Jokomai. And I used to think of it more, well, it's advanced, so it should be later in the forms, but now I think it's just the best first thing to learn, and so that's why we're learning it. Also has really good set of answers for them transitioning, and also has the remainder of the grappling stuff. So 4 and 5 will have the remainder of our grappling stuff for the Jo. So I think this is a good place. Right after we get through with the heads up, we start getting into this. All right, so let's switch positions actually. All right. So in this form and the remainder of these forms, I'll be in Jokomai. And so this situation is simple. I wasn't ready for any kind of fight or exchange. And this guy is ready, and he's going to attack me, right? So I'm just hanging out here. Okay, now Josh, and we're in Josh's range, right? So if Josh steps in, he can easily get me, right? So no problem there. As he comes in with the thrust, I'm going to deal with it by doing this. Now look, this is the simplest, in my opinion, best way to handle it because it's the least likely to fail. Now look, a lot of times, and especially because we love to hit sticks, when they come in, we like to see this, and that's really great, and that is something that can happen, but it's bad because of this, right? Okay, and also bad because of this. Right, he's already hit me, and then I hit him later, right? So those things are both sucky, right? So I could just miss him on the thrust, and he stabs me, or I could go too late and he stabs me. So those are bad. However, if I leave the weapon right in front of my body, and as he comes in, I just do this, that's a really simple deflection, very unlikely to miss that. The only thing that could happen is I could end up on the other side of his body, and I could turn slightly to deal with that, right? And that's not that likely to happen. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm not targeting his stick. I'm actually targeting his front hand. So as he comes in, I'm driving to his thumb. Now, here's another thing. If I hit that thumb really hard, I might jam it, mess it up, and make it difficult for him to deal with his weapon, which would be a nice exchange for me, right? So as this guy's coming in, all I'm doing is aiming for that hand, and I push it to the side. So it's not a big hit. Just glide it off to the side. Okay, now, what would I do from here? I could do a ton of stuff, or I could hit him with one hand, I could hit him from underneath with one hand, I could transition myself in to attack him, all kinds of stuff. Now look, if I transition in to attack him, we're actually flip rolled for second form. So look, we're close quarters, and I go here, and if he did a Mawashi Burai to get back, bang, now we're in second form, right? So you can see second form immediately attaches to these forms as well. Okay, so I'm here. What's Josh probably going to likely want to do in any of those? Well, we're close quarters, so if he could transition long distance by using Jodengai Shiuchi, then he's going to have an advantage over me because I'm definitely in a crippled position here. If we stay close quarters, the stick's about as good for me as it is for him. He's a little bit of an advantage, but not a huge advantage. So he'd want to get a bigger advantage. All right, so this form notices that he is going up and sticks to those elbows, and he's going back, and I drive him back, right? So I want to push him off of me. Now, Saito Sensei shows this with a step on the foot, which I think is a good idea. There's nothing wrong with that idea, and that's just real simple. As he goes back, I go here, boom, and he's trying to step back, and, you know, he jacks up his ankle or whatever as I shove him back. That's really cool. But honestly, just shove him way away. That's the answer, okay? So I shove him really far off of me, so that way his transition gets screwed up. Okay, now in this, though, when I go to shove him away, the form makes this guy a lot stronger than me, so I can't. right? I tried to push him away, but I can't push him away. So he's still coming in. So as he comes in, I rotate to the other side, bang, bang, bang. Now, in this form, we're opposite side of the way we ended 3. So I'm opposite side of 3, but in a very similar position to 3, right? So 3, I'd be over there. This form, I'm over here, right? So if I was doing 3, I would be over here, and I would go into this position, right? But here, I'm here. Now, I can still do the movements from 3 here. So meaning, if something goes wrong with this, I can still slide up into 3 and do my kokyunage and my choke right there just as well. But this is nice because I have more access to the inside of his arms, and I take that access. Also, and Saito Sensei specifically says this is not what we're doing, but there are strikes in all of those movements. So meaning, after I've come to the elbows, here I have a strike here at the back of the head, boom. I have a strike here, boom, to the arm, and then I have a strike here that could be the wrist, this side or this side, and right now I'm just going in and controlling the weapon. So I'm in the middle of the weapon here. Now I think Saito Sensei says don't do that because he doesn't like people bonking each other with the stick. It's rude and annoying and it happens all the time. But notice those are in there for you. So if you want those, you can use those. You shouldn't do it to your training partners all the time. Okay, now after this, what's the guy want to do? He's going to want to clear his weapon. Now the simplest way to do that is just to pull it back like that. Okay, now if he pulls it really far, so if he pulls it a little bit, I could stick with him, right? So there's nothing changed there. Actually, let's face them. Okay, but if he pulls it really far, that's great because now I have all kinds of strikes in here. And also, if he pulls it really far and we get this, I'm also set up here, right? So I get, again, my number 3 answer for that. Okay, if he doesn't pull it too far, I just keep my stick in there messing up his arms. Now, if Josh goes to hit me right now, I have one hand on this stick. He pushes as hard as he wants. Without letting go of the weapon, which is what I want, because when he lets go of the weapon, I'll have more control. Okay, without him letting go of the weapon, he can't get out of this position really easily. I use that to my advantage, and I just torque him that direction, right? So I push him off of me. Now, if one of his hands pops off the weapon, that's what I want, because he'll now have one hand on his weapon. I'll have 2 hands on my weapon, and that'd be an advantage for me. So if he wants to let go, sweet, I like that. If he gets thrown away, sweet, I like that, right? So let's just look at that face on again real quick. So face them. Okay, so we're here like this, and I hooked up, and as he raises, all I do is keep my stick in there. That's all I'm doing is keep my stick in there, and I'm driving over. If it slipped out from under this, I get answers from either 3 or 2, right? So if, boom, boom. Okay, if this slipped out, so he could let go or whatever, say let's go, that's cool. Here's the answers from 3. Right? Okay, and I also get answers from 2, meaning that I can come in here, and so as he comes to strike, bang, we get there. So if it slips out either way, I get answers from 3 or answers from 2. He could let go, my stick just slips out, whatever, get answers from 3 and answers from 2 in that, right? Okay, so let's look at this whole form here. So I'm not in the ready to fight position. I just happen to get my wits about me the second he thrusts. Boom, he decides to transition. I stick to him here like this, but I can't shove him back, so he shifts forward, so I can't shove him back. Then I come back here and I can hit him 1, 2, 3 if I want. I lock up his weapon. As he tries to clear his weapon, I stick to those hands and I push him away from me, right? So this is my old 7, my Saito Sensei 6th, and my current 4. It really doesn't matter, right? So like these numbers are mostly just a teaching convention that makes it easier for me to go through this. And right now we're having a rough time because it's a bad teaching convention because all my students are all, wait, which one is this? So if you want to remember it as the one where you catch their elbows, perfectly reasonable right now, right? So I'm just streamlining the way I teach them as we go. So currently 4. And this teaches almost, we have almost all the grappling methods up at this point. I'm Christopher Hein, it's Joshua T. My Solana McDaniels behind that camera right there. We'll see you in the next video.